Each Sunday, we share our joys and our concerns and our sorrows, the things that are weighing on our heart. And Jane, would you help us with the stones? That's another task of the chalice slider as you sit down. Each week, we have stones that are heavy, like the things that weigh on our heart, but they are also smooth, like the joys that bring smiles and laughter to our life. And the water receives those stones with calmness. Each week you are invited, when you come into the sanctuary, if you have something to share, you can write it in the book. And you can also email it to pastoral care, and then we can add it to the list. Each week we place 3 stones as we begin our service. The first is in honor of the Cherokee and the Muskogee nations of the indigenous peoples who lived here before us. Another is to remember those who were wrongly enslaved here and who labored on this land. And the third is for all those hurting in current conflicts and wars that still rage across our globe. We have one we want to share, which is a joy. It was actually listed as a joy, joy, joy when it was sent. This is from Ed and Kathy Casper. We are both finally retired, they write. And Ed adds, in other words, Kathy has finally grown up. Our planned departure for Panama is booked for July 8th, and we are looking forward to this new adventure and hope many of you will choose to visit us. And by the way, during Ed's final month driving a school bus, he was selected as Employee of the Month for the Transportation Department of the Cherokee County Schools. They say we miss you and send love to all our Emerson friends and family. It's lovely. Chloe Rapole shares a sorrow. My Friday workday ended on a low when I learned that my contract was not being renewed. I am asking for positive thoughts manifesting a new role. I am grateful for a few things. My spidey senses tingled a few months back, so I was already becoming active and looking and applying for ideal opportunities. It's just more urgent now. I am grateful for my former supervisor who is providing me with a great recommendation. And fingers crossed, the laptop I've been using might travel with me. I'm grateful for extra time with my son Seth, and I'm really excited for that time with you, Seth. Please keep me in your thoughts and sprinkle some amazing job opportunities with benefits and a sense of fulfillment energy on your way. Trent Barron writes, we are so lucky to be able to go up to Michigan this week to celebrate my grandma's 100th birthday. Wow. Wonderful. Would you put one last stone for the things that are just not ready to be shared yet? Thank you. And if we could share the Buddhist prayer of loving kindness together, I'll wait for the slide. Thank you, Jane. May we all be filled with loving kindness. May we all be free from harm and suffering. May we all be well in body, heart, and mind. May we all be at peace. Blessed be.
One way we put our prayer of loving kindness into action is by partnering with other organizations who work to bring love, kindness, and justice to the world. This month, the Share the Basket collection is for the Minister's Discretionary Fund. There are needs within this congregation that go far beyond the listening ear and a helping hand. Sometimes it is assistance with unexpected expenses at times when we cannot make ends meet. This may be an assist with housing, food, or funds for medical care. The Minister's Discretionary Fund is here when somebody needs immediate assistance. It is a hard time for many. The gifts of the congregation may be most gratefully received. The basket will now be passed. For those in the sanctuary, as the basket is passed, please feel free to offer a donation or see a card in the basket for other ways to give. For those online, please go to emersonuu.org and select the Giving tab to donate. All donations, unless otherwise specified, as such, our pledge payments are shared equally between Emerson and our partner organization.
Some of you who are members here might recognize the bouquet of roses and know that generally we offer a rose to those who are joining us and becoming new members. As we prepared to welcome 3 people today to new membership, we found that 2 were not able to be here due to an emergency, and the other wants to wait for a family member to be here. So we have beautiful roses ready to share with anyone who would like to have some later. So we are going to skip right ahead and go to our story. So I invite anyone young and young at heart to come forward, and today's going to be a really fun story. Come on up.
Yes, come on up, come on up. This is going to be a very fun story. We have some audience participation. The audience has to be little animals, so hopefully everybody can handle that. This is a story that's called The Grizzly Bear Who Lost His Grr, and it was written and illustrated by Bob Biddulph. We're not going to show pictures today, though, because Reverend Christina and I will be providing all the visuals. So, hello to everybody. Today you have a part in the story. You are all the friends who help the bear Fred. And Fred looks like, oh, here he is. He's a little kind of Indian-looking bear. And He needs help to share his gur. So we're going to hold up a sign when he needs help with his gur. And the sign looks like this. Let's have a practice now. Gur, gur. Yeah, he's going to really need help, so we need some good gurs. Oh, and also, in the story, when Eugene the Owl mentions the volunteers, that's you guys. So here's the story. Each year, for as the forest has stood, a contest is held for the bears of the wood. And the bear who has won for 3 years in a row is a grizzly called Fred. He's the star of the show. Yay, Fred. Fred's a brilliant fish catcher, a fine hula hooper. At scaring the humans, he's really quite super. There's one thing, however, for which he's best known. When Fred does his loud grrr, he's out on his own. He's on his own, too, all day long while he's training. But there's no time for buddies. But Fred's not complaining. Who needs Jemimas or Davids or Sophies? My friends are my prizes, my medals, my trophies. Now, this guy is Boris, the new bear in town. He's entered the contest to win Fred Bear's crown. He's big and he's strong and he's fast and he's clever. They say that his grr is the loudest grr ever. Oh, sounds pretty loud. Fred might give a run for his money. But he is trying to keep out of sight, so sneaky and quiet in the still of the night. Now he's leaving Fred's cave. If you didn't know better, you'd say that he had something under that sweater. The day of the contest, and this could spell trouble. Poor Fred's woken up with no grr in his bubble. What terrible luck, what a shame, what a bore. 2 hours till a contest, and Fred's lost his roar. Meanwhile, in the treetop, a helpful young owl looks down through the leaves at a bear with no growl. With a hoot and a flutter, he jumps from his perch. My name is Eugene. Can I help with the search? Not sure what to do and not sure what to say. Fred smiles at Eugene, and he whispers, okay. So together they set out to look for Fred's grr in the greenhouse. They look in the shed. They look through the laundry room and under the bed. The top of the wardrobe, inside it, behind it. They turn the place over, but still they can't find it. Then Eugene calls his friend Hepzibah. She soon appears. I'm here for the hunt, and I brought volunteers.
Volunteers.
An army of helpers, all helping our hero. But how many growls do these helpers find? 0.
You didn't find any?
None. Not
No.
one. Uh-oh. Now it's time for the contest to start. Come along, Fred. Get a move on. Think smart. Good luck, shouts Eugene as Fred leaves in a hurry. We'll all come along to support you. Don't worry. First, it's the fish catching. Fred is on fire. Look at that score getting higher and higher. Next, at the hula hoop, Boris is spinning with 5 more than Fred. He is definitely winning. At scaring the humans, it's hard to deny. They are both pretty scary. Well, let's call it a tie. And now for the loud grr, the last round of all. But who's in the lead? Well, it's too close to call. First up is Boris. A deep breath, and then grrr. Look at his score. It's a 10. Now Fred's in the spotlight. He puffs out his chest. He opens his mouth and he hopes for the best. He's not sure what'll happen. His friends are here to help him. Grrr! What an extraordinary state of affairs. Fred lost his grr, but his helpers found theirs. The sound is so loud it makes Boris jump. And look what just fell to the ground with a bump.
What's that?
Fred's grr, says Eugene. It was you all along. Oh, he had it in his sweater. You're a bad, bad bear, Boris, and cheating is wrong. Oh, it's true, Boris cries. I'm guilty. I did it. I went to Freddy's cave, took his growl, and then hid it. I'm new here, you see, and I live all alone. I don't really have any friends of my own. I hope that if people thought I was a winner, then maybe sometimes they might come round for dinner. Fred looks at Boris, and what does he see? A bear who was not all that different from he. A bear who was lonely. A bear who was sad. A bear who was maybe not totally bad. I think we're both winners, says Fred. And what's more, I'd like to be friends. And he holds out a paw. Really? Says Boris, who gets to his feet and gives Fred a bear hug. Now, isn't that sweet? They'll always remember how this story ends, that Fred lost his grr, but discovered his friends.
No. Want to ask any questions?
Oh, sure. Can you think of any?
So what do you think of that story? Does anyone have an idea about it? What do you think, Claire? It was a good story. It was fun. When we were putting the story together, we thought it'd be really fun if you got to be the volunteers and did the GER, so we wrote out the whole story so that you could do that, and that's really cool.
You guys did a great job.
Good job. All right. Well, let's sing our song. The words are on the back of the order of service on the bottom for those who are in the seats, and let's sing together. As the little ones leave and move to a time for play, we take a breath and feel ourselves centered and cushioned by the chairs and gravity holding us in place on this earth. I share this centering prayer and meditation by Reverend Aaron Walter. Spirit of life and love, which goes by many names in our hearts. From Jesus to justice, from goddess to great mystery, who hears and speaks in all languages and knows no human-made borders. Hear our prayers. May today bring miracles of grace and healing, of truth and peace, of sweet relief, no ordinary day. May this day show a way forward through the densest forests of the heart, over the highest mountains of our minds, maybe even past the driest desert of all, the news. May we be fed by friendship, by art, by magic, by our thirst, quenched by water from the deepest, purest river, the river of love. Let us share in a moment of silence. May it be so.
Reverend Burton Carley wrote this reflection of our faith movement. The truth is that there is a little bit of the prodigal son in each of us. We chafe against the boundaries, slights, and genuine oppressions of the various religious homes 90% of us left behind. I remember a line from the classic American film, The Wild Ones. The unforgettable black-leathered character played by a young Marlon Brando is asked, "What are you rebelling against?" He responds, "What have you got?" There is something in that rebel in us sensitive to any kind of real or imaginary boundary. We are the motorcycle gang that swears to keep the spirit free. Our whole history is a history of leaving home, sometimes being kicked out, and moving on some other place again. We have been in a perpetual journey and enjoy calling ourselves a movement. Dare I say it? Yes, I will. The journey is not all. The purpose of the journey is to arrive somewhere. Casting the religious life as a constant journey is as debilitating to spiritual maturity as an agoraphobia or fear of leaving home. The fugitive life is an exhausting one. Though it celebrates freedom, it is truly not free. The dynamic spiritual formation is one that moves between home and journey. Some people need to leave home and take up the journey. Our need as lovers of leaving is to find the way home, to imagine what home might be. Aho.
In 2005, the Unitarian Universalist Association coordinated an ad campaign for congregations to participate in. In major cities across the country, different collections of congregations raised money and put out ad campaigns on billboards, in the newspapers, and a postcard mailer. I was a member of the Unitarian Universalist congregation in Houston, and our Metro Houston congregations, 8 of them, did a series of ads. It was pretty great in the sense that so many people came from the ad campaign and said, "I just never knew there was a place like this out there." The first newspaper ad read, "In a world of conventional religions, there is one that is not. There is one that believes religion should be more than a narrow statement of faith, that it should have room for deep questions that might have more than one answer, and that the mystery of creation can be acknowledged without having to be named. Through the ages, there have always been people who have taken a progressive view of religion with the belief that people can be sensitive to the sacred and intellectually truthful at the same time. Unitarian Universalist congregations in the greater Houston area invite those who share that vision to visit one of our 8 congregations. We call ourselves the Uncommon Denomination." I liked what I read. And at that time, I was starting my first year in seminary, and I was given the assignment to find something of my faith that I thought could be improved on. Well, I must have picked a really high bar because I picked this ad. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought there was something else that could have been added. I did think and support that this statement provided a diverse perspective of our congregations theologically. It did describe our culture of inclusiveness, and it highlighted our intellectual pursuit of reason. Unitarian Universalism is a denomination that welcomes, if not encourages, questioning mainstream religion as an institution. Most of us in this room have come to this denomination as a respite from other domineering religious past in which doubt was not permitted. And here, together, each week, we find a safe haven for religious exploration and a discourse, hopefully, free of guilt. And perhaps this is what originally brought you here today, too. My paper, I decided, was that there was something more that beckoned people to return. Coming is the first step. Coming back over and over again is the next. I decided to focus on what bound us in community. At that time, there was a speaker who was very prolific and making the rounds in Unitarian Universalist congregations named Michael Durrell. He was a church consultant and helped people look at their vision and mission statements and bring them alive. Helped people as a community look to see how to make their congregations vibrant. He said what was important about a congregation is when you ask people, why did you come to a Unitarian Universalist congregation? Many would say they come to be with like-minded people. And that's probably true. But he said, you could find that at your book club or at Starbucks. So what is it that was missing in that statement? What is missing in that foundational piece is that the values that we share as Unitarian Universalists provide a means for living day by principled action. First, we gather in community of religious pluralism. That's true. What is so beautiful about this room is that shoulder to shoulder, you are sitting next to a person who sees the world differently than you, whose theological path is varied, and what brought you here is perhaps very different from what brought the person next to you here. It is not a requirement that we all believe the same thing. What is important is how we are together. It's our relationship with each other, that we live by our values, that puts love at the center and respect and kindness as we all are on our theological journeys. So this vision that we have gives us a vision of possibility. That ad does speak to what might bring you through the door, but does it answer how faith can transform you? As a community, we come together here to ask each other, week after week, in our lives, how to create the vision we seek, because it is not always clear. And so we come here to this place and we bring our whole selves full of religious trauma, our whole selves of pain and sorrow and joy. And we opened our service today with the reading that beckoned us to bring it all. Bring your whole self. Bring that which makes your heart sing. Bring your kindness and your compassion and your sorrow and your brokenness and your disappointments. And you here can be welcomed in. When I speak of that which transforms you, that might cause a little wiggle of discomfort in some. It sounds so religious, doesn't it? And I know for myself, growing up a Unitarian Universalist and coming to my own path and identity of who I am, I resisted over the years understanding that I was less and less a secular person who came to church and a congregation, and slowly over time realized that I was becoming a religious person in a secular world. And this was a very long process. In the 70s and 80s, when I was a child in Unitarian Universalism, there was a foothold of religious skepticism and the breadth of humanism in my congregation. And I felt really comfortable with saying what I did not believe. I felt really comfortable claiming that skeptical point of view. And now, many decades later, especially now as an ordained minister and a religious leader, I feel comfortable identifying as a person of faith, that I live my faith out on a daily basis. It took a while, but I realized that I was transformed by being a Unitarian Universalist. It literally changed my life. So I ask you, are you willing to be changed by your faith? Are you open for religious transformation? And oh goodness, if I mention the word reborn, we're really gonna wiggle. We all in this room have difficulty with religious language that speaks of miracles and conversions and things that just logically don't make sense. But sometimes to get through those stories is looking through a metaphor. The metaphor to get to the other side of the story that allows for us to be changed. We have demystified religion, but still seek to engage the mystery. That's a really hard line, isn't it? Reverend Burton Carley wrote, "We have shorn superstition away from the body of spiritual wisdom, and yet we are in need of linguistic tools for interpreting the deep yearnings and discoveries of our inner lives." He says, science can't do this. My husband would argue, he's a scientist. Psychology can't do this. I know some in this room are psychologists and would probably argue that too. Surveys can't do this. And oh my, for all of us who are in congregational leadership here, we might argue too that committees cannot do this. Religious transformation happens when we have symbols and narratives and poetry that lead us to the edges of human experience, to speak about that intersection between the temporal and the eternal, to express what is true beyond facts and to point to the reality beyond the real. What does that really even mean, though? For those of us in the room looking at things with the lens of realism, what it means is that we can see that the supernatural might not be what we consider that which changes us, but that we as living, breathing human beings are always in process. We are always learning. We are learning through our lives, and reductionism kills the spirit of change. He writes, "It's like being next to the one you love, and your heart goes all aflutter, and thinking, oh, this is only a function of the brain. To not see that we can be changed by the life in which we live, especially in community, is to reduce life to a sterile, one-dimensional plane. It turns people from subjects into objects, It's almost like stripping away the dross, the obsolete and the misconceptions, but we destroy religion, not only to recover it and reform it, but that which changes our whole lives becomes something that we don't even see anymore. So I would argue that the task of our religious community, of those who are so used to being uncomfortable with religion and religious language, is to come here week after week, side by side, shoulder to shoulder, with those who are different than you, with those who challenge you every day to be the person you are becoming, to be shoulder to shoulder with those who share your religious values and the dreams you want and to see flourish in the world, and to be part of a religious community. And we have an example of this at our fingertips. Just as we saw today in our circle, we teach our children in our religious education programs the values of Unitarian Universalism. They learn that not only information about our history and our ancestors, they also learn about what a worship service is. They sit with us as we light our chalice, as we share the basket, and also get a lollipop. They learn what is important about being in community. The values that we teach them about how to be in relationship with each other and to understand the importance and value of questioning things, living our values through outreach and putting them into action every day through our social justice actions. This is what we teach our children. It is loving our neighbor, keeping an open mind, and making the world a better place. We are teaching our children to be religious people in a secular world. I think if Darrell were here today, he might ask you, how would you explain to a newcomer why being a part of this congregation has changed your life? He shares that this is the kind of heartfelt question and the sharing of experience that perhaps a visitor really needs to hear. I don't know about you, but have you ever heard of the elevator speech of, tell me what Unitarian Universalism is about? And the elevator doors close. And then you think, oh, well, I can tell you about the history of Unitarianism and Universalism and our faith statement. None of these things are really what are going to get somebody to come visit. What it might be, Darrell says, is that you share that this place has changed you. That as the doors are soon to open, that you say, this is a place that accepts me for who I am. A place where diversity and religious pluralism is valued. A place where love is love, that we support science, that Black Lives Matter, that women deserve bodily autonomy, and religious pluralism is a given. What I really want to say when those elevator doors close is that you, as a group of people, change me every day. You help me see how to live my life better. And the values that we share in our Unitarian Universalist values are the ones that I turn to over and over again when I need to know what to do next. Your journey of what brought you here is different than my journey here. And our religious community is one that accepts our different stories. What I would say to someone is that this community is my home. I want to read a reading to you, a reading from Elizabeth Tarbox. She wrote a meditation on religious transformation. It's a little personal, and it's about her ancestors. She writes, "Who are my people? Where are you who birthed me to play in the summer circle? I think I see you out of the corner of my eye, gone before I look again, working and talking, enraged and alive. My ancestors are all about me in the ragged edges of my memory, like partially developed film. The details are sketchy now as I look out. In my ancestors, there were no princes or ladies among them, but instead scullery maids and journeymen. I know their faces, but not their voices, not the way their clothes smell, not the soft hands, warm and red from a day of washing sheets. Did they smile at me in those photos? Did they notice the little gifts of writings that I bring to them each day? I don't remember. Bits of pieces of my people remain in my memory's attic, hardly enough to make a tribe. Forebears in small brick cottages of sooty chimneys and outdoor toilets. Women with wraparound aprons and men with cloth caps. Brown teapots and doilies and unheated bedrooms. My grandmother's slippers, my mother's bone-handled hairbrush. Just memories without the power to haunt. So I seek a new tribe, other meanings. That little girl at the shelter shows me a toy. Her creased fingers cannot yet turn a key, but there is still strength in her hand as it touches mine. She doesn't know my name. She would come with me if I would make her toy work and protect her from the world that has roughened her skin, bruised her heart, and given her only broken toys. She is a needy child, therefore is she not my child? The old man who hardly knows me says he loves me because I bring him a bowl of food and sit there while he eats it. He is a hungry old man, therefore is he not my father? At home, I listen to a tape of sacred music, and I weep in my chair. And I cannot say if I weep for the child in the shelter or the child I used to be. The spirits have no power to haunt, I claim, so why do I weep in nostalgia and regret my own regretfulness? I look at the faces around the meeting table here in this congregation. Across the sanctuary, she writes, in the candlelight of the meditation group, and I think, these are my people now. We belong to each other. I pour out my soul to trust in this new tribe. These are my people who touch my hands, who invite me to come along, who make room for me to sit in the shadow of the candlelight and to listen to their songs. She closes with, I am home. We belong to each other here. We belong to each other, and we come here each week to be transformed by our connections to each other. So let us be honest with each other about our changing faith journeys. Our journeys that bring us here week after week as we seek to find peace in this world. Here, where we can articulate our dreams and our needs and our sorrows and our pains and our stories. Here with our religious pluralism, here with our religious leaving, may this be a home you come back to. To use religious language, that might be the beginning of baptism, so to speak. But it's more than baptism at the beginning. It's the coming back and making it into a lifetime. What would it look like for you to be welcome to be religiously transformed? Perhaps it would be coming more often, even when that Sunday morning cup of coffee lulls you to stay at home. Would it be perhaps joining a listening circle? Would it be coming to service reflections and speaking from your heart about how the service moved you? Would it be sharing your story with vulnerability with those who you might not have met yet? I'm going to close with one last little story from Reverend Robert Hardy's. He talked about a bumper sticker that he once saw that said, "Born right the first time." He liked it, he said, but after thinking about it for a while, he was struck that it was a bit naive and at worst, arrogant. He said, "I don't know anyone who doesn't yearn for something more. I don't know anyone who doesn't say, I wish I could love better, love bigger." He shared that he was not entirely satisfied with the usual notion of being born again as a once-in-a-lifetime event. He quoted the poet E. E. Cummings, who grew up Unitarian, who once wrote that we can never be born enough. Hardy's continued, "Isn't life always calling us to rebirth? When a loved one dies and we can find strength to go on, that's when we are born again. Or perhaps when we come out of the closet and find the strength to be openly gay or trans, that is when we are born again. With each rebirth, transforming love takes hold of our heart, our battered old heart, and stretches it further than we thought it could stretch." He said that if he could sum that up in a bumper sticker, he would say now, "Born again and again and again." May we be open to such religious transformation. For those of you who have come through these doors for the very first time today and have wondered, what have I gotten myself into? We hope you find yourselves a place to feel at home here. We hope that this place might be a place to heal your wounds and to find acceptance. Know that we are honored by your presence. And for those of you who have been here for a long time, may this be an invitation to go deeper. Let us share from our deepest selves. Let us walk together on our paths that converge into one. May we be transformed by our relationships with each other. Amen and blessed be. And I invite the hymn singers to come up. Let's sing together. Number 34, "Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire." And we'll wait for you to put the slide up, and then I'll let Bruce know to start. And there it is. Yay. Another miracle. Yay. As we part now from each other, let these be our thoughts. If that which is most holy lies within the human person, and the greatest power in the world shines flickering and uncertain in the individual heart, then it is easy to see the value of human associations dedicated to nurturing the light, the family, the children, the religious community. For the power of good in any of us must be at times that waver, that a group comes together dedicated to nurturing the power of good. For it is rare when a light grows dim in all individuals at the same time. So we borrow courage and wisdom from each other to warm us and keep us and help the light stay lit until we are together again. And Jane, would you put out the yes? Thank you. Michael? Did somebody put this in here?
Yes, that's the minutes, yes.
Okay.
As we extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment, these we carry in our hearts and out into the world until we are together again. Our second hour activities are shown on the top of the back of your order of service. The other announcement is for second hour, the youth ages kindergarten and up are welcome to join in building fairy houses as part of our Can Do summer program. We will meet in the senior youth room, number 115, to start, and we'll be then head outside. And that's it. And as our service ends, go in peace and take peace wherever you go.